Hi and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave and this is episode 1556A and today's date is April 30th, 2018 and the title of the episode is Warning: the Petro Yuan will change the world as we know it. Now, before I get started, I just want to make an announcement. I uploaded 2 interviews this weekend. The first one is with V, Crypto Z, and Crypto Cowboy. The other one is with Keith Newmeyer. They're both on the X22 Report Spotlight YouTube channel. You can also find them on the x22report.com or newssentinel.com site. Scroll down a little bit, look over to your right-hand side. You can see the interview there, and you can play it right on the sites. Or you can go to Steemit. That is steemit.com/@X22Report, and you can play it right on Steemit. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, as we know, the central bankers, they are demonizing cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin, because this is something that everyone knows. They've heard of Bitcoin, they know what it is, and they know they can control it. All they need to do is get a lot of Bitcoin, dump it, they can bring the price down, and we've been seeing this happen. Actually, the Mt. Gox bankruptcy trustee has been doing this. They've been dumping a huge amount of Bitcoin on the market, which drives the price down. And this way, the central banks and the corporate media can come out and tell you how bad it is. It's volatile. Look what's happening here. Not like the stock market or anything else is, any better. But this is what they want to do. They want everyone away from it, just like they want everyone away from gold and silver and everything else. And we can see that the Mt. Gox bankruptcy trustee, they're getting ready to do this once again, because basically what they have done is they have moved around 16,000 Bitcoin and 16,000 Bitcoin Cash to 2 separate wallets. And it looks like they might be getting ready to dump this again. And if we go back in time, we can see that every time they've dropped Bitcoin, if we go back to December, they dropped around 2,000, and then a little bit later in December it was another 6,000, and then in the beginning of the year in January it was 8,000, moving to February it was 6,000, and then recently they dropped about 18,000 Bitcoins, and they're getting ready to do this again with 16,000 Bitcoins, and this is going to bring the price down once again. And again, the corporate media is going to go on there and say this is very volatile, you don't want to be in this, and it looks like this is being done on purpose. Now, once again, the central bankers, they want everyone away from cryptocurrencies. They're very, very afraid of cryptocurrency because if a lot of people start to understand what it is and how it works, they would realize that we don't need the central banking system. The centralized system, it's obsolete today. Decentralization, that's what's coming. Decentralized exchanges, decentralized currency. There's going to be no entity that fully controls it, and this is what they're most afraid of. And again, we're going to see a lot of volatility as we move forward, and you want to get around this. I think the days of just holding it and hoping that everything works out is over for right now. It might happen, or it might come back into play later on. But for now, you need to know how to maneuver around this and how to make sure that you keep your profits, make sure that you know how to profit from this. And there are ways to do this. You can watch Crypto Z, Crypto Cowboy. We talked about the trading room, and you can watch them maneuver around this, and you can follow them along and basically do what they're doing. Let the experts do it for you. And you can go to x22reportschool.com. You can learn about cryptocurrencies. You can sign up and go into the trading room. And again, you can go to the website. You can take a look at it. I'm in there. I'm learning the same way you are, and you can take a look and see how you can maneuver around this. I mean, if you don't have any cryptocurrency and you're not interested, this is not going to help you unless you want to learn and you want to figure out how this is all done. But if you do have quite a bit of Bitcoin or Dash or Litecoin or things like that, and you want to start to learn how to trade and you want to know what to do, well, they'll show you what to do. They'll show you where to go, how to do it, what to do. And again, you can watch them. They're really good at what they do. They know the stuff inside and out. Again, it's x22reportschool.com. So just go over there, take a look, see if you're interested, and you'll definitely get something out of this if you join. Now, as we can see, the economy is completely breaking down and the dollar is dying. This is why the central bankers are so worried about other currencies like gold, silver, cryptocurrency. They don't like anything competing with their system. They hate it. They can't stand it. And what we're seeing as the dollar declines and continually declines, where it's losing its value, well, it's making it harder and harder for people to get by. And we can see right now, for the 26th month in a row, U.S. spending growth outpaced income growth. January was revised down from 3.2% to 3%. February is down from 3.4% to 3.3%. And now March at just 3.1%. We see personal savings. Well, that is going absolutely nowhere. It is declining once again. People are having a very rough time saving, but they are spending using their credit cards because, again, the everyday person, they don't have the high-paying job. They have the part-time job. They're losing jobs. And the system is not doing as well as everyone wants everyone to think it is. Now, again, nothing has changed since 2008. The central bankers pumped everything up. The government, the Fed, they've been manipulating all the calculations with GDP, inflation, unemployment, and they're making it seem like everything is absolutely fine. Actually, everyone felt the same exact way right before the 2008 crash. Everyone said, oh, everything's great. Real estate's fantastic. We see jobs are fantastic. The stock market's at 14,000 points. Everything looks great. And then all of a sudden, snap of a finger, everything came crashing down. We see pending home sales right now. They have declined for the fourth straight month in a row. And they rose about 0.4% month on month, missing expectations of about 0.7% month on month. And we can see right now that when we look at this on a year-to-year basis, we see pending home sales, they dropped by 4.4%. That is quite a bit. And we know that the central banks, the banking system, they realize they need to keep the system propped up, get as many people in as they possibly can before they bring it down. Now, again, they're trying to control the narrative just like Trump is trying to control the narrative. And both of them are going to be fighting for this, but they like a lot of people into the system. They like a lot of people into the stock market. They like to loan out a lot of money to bring all these people in so they can buy all the toxic real estate on pennies on the dollar. And again, they buy it on pennies on the dollar, then they unwind and sell it for a profit. I mean, think about how this is all being played out here. They've done it in the past. They're going to try to do it once again. Now, back in 2015, Freddie Mac rolled out a conventional mortgage that only required 3% down. And that program didn't do as well as they thought it was going to do. It did allow people to come into the market, but what they've done is they've taken it to the next step. Now, Freddie Mac, which they announced this last Thursday, that it's going to supercharge its 3% down program and launch a widespread expansion of the offering. And what they're going to do is they're going to be doing the 3% down, but there's going to be no income check whatsoever. In other words, they're trying to bring everyone into the system, and they need the American person. They need that person to purchase the homes. Who is holding the homes right now? Foreign investors, hedge funds, investment companies. They held the houses to pump the bubbles up. What do they do in the end game? The end stage of this bubble cycle. They need to unload, just like the stock market. You have all those people in there pumping it all up, and then when they reach a certain point before the bubble pops, they need to unload it, and they need to make everyone feel, and this is the small investor, that it's going to continually move up and up and up. The same thing with the real estate market. They're ready to unload. So what they do is they try to get everyone into the system, and that's what they're doing right now. They're bringing everyone into the system because they know that these bubbles, they are popping. We've been talking about what is happening out in Canada, Australia, New York, California, and many of the other areas. Remember, all they're doing is pumping up 20 different cities to make you think that it's the entire country, but it isn't the entire country. Many parts of the country, guess what? They can't sell their houses at all. Prices have not gone up. There's so many people still underwater. It's ridiculous. We see right now that from the Fed's weekly report of treasuries, it looks like foreign central banks, they're dumping a huge amount of treasuries right now. We also see that UBS is out there, and they're saying that the Petro Yuan will undermine America's dominant role and create a sea change in global markets. And they're talking about the Petro Yuan overtaking the petrodollar. Now, China's new oil futures contract, which is the Petro Yuan, is gaining huge momentum as a fixture on the global oil market. The Shanghai oil contract and trading volumes have picked up. The global oil trade is gradually shifting east, since that is where demand is rising the fastest. In 2017, the EIA says that the Asia and Oceania accounted for about 35% of global demand for oil and other liquid fuels, up from 30% in 2008. That portion will continue to expand, with China and India accounting for an outsized portion of demand growth going forward. Already, the Shanghai contract has seen more trading volume for September 2018 delivery than the Oman contract. And we see right now that they're gaining ground. Now, are they overtaking the petrodollar? Not at the moment. But what happens is they introduced it, it's picking up momentum, and this is going to change the world as we know it. Because what this shows us, and think about when we go back in time, when we talked about the yuan being introduced into the basket of the IMF of SDRs, and everyone said, no, that's not going to happen. The yuan is not ready for it. It can't be included. Well, it is included. Remember when we talked about, oh, maybe China will take over the petrodollar, and we talked about how they would start the Petro Yuan, and people said, no, that's not going to happen. It can happen. And here we have the Petro Yuan. Remember when they said it's going to take years upon years, 20 years, for the Petro Yuan to take over for the petrodollar? Well, guess what? It's not going to take that long. Just like the petrodollar. How long did it take for the petrodollar? It took no time. All they did was come off the gold standard. Yes, they had it all set up, and they said, we're switching it. When they want to switch these things, they just do it. And they're already building the momentum right now to get everyone used to it. Within a year or two, everything could be moved over to these. Think about it. Everything is already set up. It's not like they started yesterday. They've been doing this for years. They moved all the manufacturing over to the east. It took many, many years to do that, but look what they've done. They moved everything all out to China, to other countries in Asia. They created the payment system. They created the exchanges. They created the gold exchange. They created the Petro Yuan. They've been buying gold at this very, very low price. They've been making bilateral trades over the years. They didn't start yesterday making these bilateral trades. They've been doing it. They started their One Belt, One Road. They have like 70 countries signed on to this. This has been planned a long time ago. And we're at the stage right now where they're almost ready to flip the switch and move everything over to the new system. This is going to change the way we see everything today, because the United States will no longer be the reserve currency. Once the United States is no longer the reserve currency, well, guess what? Our way of lives, well, they're going to change a little bit, because we won't have the dominance of the dollar. Another country will. And that means we're going to have to change with it and the way we run our lives. Just like other countries had to change when they lost their reserve status. But this is much larger. And I don't know if people are going to be ready for this, because it's going to be painful in the beginning. Yes, over time, it will smooth out, but in the very beginning, just like when we came off the gold standard, went on to the petrodollar in 1970s, 1971, it was painful in the beginning, and we were the reserve currency at that time. Now, the reserve currency is moving away from the U.S., so this is going to be painful, and once again, once this happens, everything is going to be repriced, and the dollar might not exist. They might have to change things up. Actually, the dollar probably won't exist. And this is why we see the crypto market coming into play. This is why the central bankers don't like this. And what we need to do, once we start moving through this transition, we need to say that we don't need the central banks anymore. We don't need the private Western central banks. We don't need them to create our currency. We don't need a centralized system anymore. We need a decentralized system. Just like we don't need a globalist system, which is really a centralized system. We need a national system. We need a decentralized system to move forward. So it's going to be bumpy. We're going to go through this transition. And this is why you need to protect your wealth with gold and silver. Make sure you also have cryptocurrencies, because most likely this will be the currency that we'll be using to transact business, because it'll be very easy. It's all electronic. Everyone has a phone. It's easy to send and receive. And I believe on a lower level for the people, this is what they'll be using. Gold and silver, very important. It's never gone away. Even with the paper dollar, even with the electronic dollar, you still have gold and silver. Gold and silver maintains its value over time. And it basically is an insurance policy against devaluing currencies. And I believe that everyone should always have gold and silver. Do I think you need to use it and go and spend it? No. I think you keep it to basically guard your wealth. And you keep it. This is what they've done in the past. I mean, this is what countries do. They keep their gold so they have a store of wealth in their country. And if times go bad and currencies go, belly up, guess what you have? You have gold. Everyone accepts gold. Everyone accepts silver. They all know what it is. It's universal. And this is why you need to have both. You also need to have food, water, supplies, because when we go through this change, this transition, well, there's going to be inflation. It's going to be very difficult to get supplies, and you're going to need to be prepared for all of this. So you can see that we are moving towards a brand new system. Change is on its way, and the world is not going to be the same once we move through this transition. So get prepared. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.